Peace and blessings. This is your brother Kepra hollering at you again. I want to talk about the heart center according to ancient wisdom teachings, and this will be an introduction. As luminous beings we are constantly emanating brain waves, heart waves, and particles. And in turn, we are receiving brain waves, heart waves, and particles. Now, when we look at the word aura, there's a lot of mystery behind that word. People talk about someone's aura, the colors, and everything else. But aura is basically the personal bioelectromagnetic field surrounding a person. And it is generated by heart and brain waves. And some will say it's part of our subtle body or etheric body. And just like you have an aura that protects you from negative thought forms, the earth also has an aura. It is the atmosphere. And when meteorites or asteroids will come into our atmosphere, they'll burn up. And by the time they land on our planet's surface, they're probably like a small nugget compared to what they started out as. So this is what your auric field does. When something negative, like a negative thought, is coming towards you, the more powerful and stronger your auric field is, the more protection that you have against negative thought forms. Another word for aura, some would say, is halo and so forth. But the aura is kind of like the cloud of energy around us. The aura is said to be between 4 to 6 feet. And those who are sensitive to energies can actually feel the aura. And there's experiments where you can push up against someone's aura and cause their body to rock back and forth. So yes, people, the aura is a real thing. The aura is also seen by clairvoyants and mystics. And there are those who can read the aura and tell a person what's going on in their life, or whether or not this person is healthy. So the aura is projected and it emanates from our being. And the heart center has a lot to do with the power of the aura. It's the most powerful electromagnetic conductor in the human body. The heart center, or should I say the heart, is actually 60 times greater in amplitude than the electrical activity in the brain. And this research has been concluded through the HeartMath Institute. I would like to point out, though, that there are many who are actually skeptical of these conclusions, which is understandable. However, I'd say, let us take this journey. Let's take this journey together and explore these possibilities. And we can make the discoveries where you get to decide whether or not it's true. I'll also be walking you through some of the techniques that you can utilize and experiment and feel the energy, opening up passageways within your meridians. According to the Vedic system, we have what is called 72,000 nadis, which are kind of like inner rivers throughout your being. And they connect your chakras. Now, there are actually 7 main chakras that we recognize in the West, but there are actually 114 chakras. And just like there are 72,000 nadis, in the West they mostly focus on 3 main ones, which is the Ida, the Pingala, the Sushumna, which is basically you have the middle part. You got your Sushumna, then you got your Ida Pingala going up the spine. And there's certain exercises in which we can use or utilize to clear these passages so we can get the energy to flow properly through our bodies and channels. Now, I'd like to point out in the wisdom teachings, what's interesting is that we have 114 chakras. Okay. Now, I'm not getting religious on you. I just want to point something out. The Holy Quran has 114 surahs. and every Surah is a degree of realization. Now, the main objective is to take the religious dogma out, okay, and pay attention to the science. Even in the Bible, it talks about, in the Old Testament, the Lord is a man of war, but in the New Testament, God is the spirit of love, or God is love. And that's talking about the left brain and the right brain hemisphere, the form of the Old and New Testament working together. So you're supposed to integrate these sciences. A lot of these teachings were never meant to be taken literally. Unfortunately, there are those of us who have given completely over to dogma. And therefore, instead of us reaching levels of awareness and enlightenment, we find ourselves under control. Okay. Now I want to get back to the heart. And by the way, also I want to mention a lot of times the Quran is green, which is identified with the color of the heart center by certain spiritual traditions. Green is the color of life. Green is also the color of the heart. It could be green and it could be red, right? But the heart itself is a very electrical organ. It needs an electrical impulse in order for it to beat. Another thing is that the heart has its own brain, according to the ancient wisdom teachings. And it talks about how the heart is so powerful that when you master this energy, you can achieve great things and even perform miracles. So we explore the ancient wisdom teachings. We see that much of it has survived, much of it is veiled behind allegory and dogma, and I believe it's highly possible that much of our religious, philosophical, and even scientific knowledge of this day was at some point housed in the Library of Alexandria, as well as the new discoveries that have been made. I'd like to mention too that there were other ancient libraries and storehouses of knowledge besides Alexandria that were destroyed. Some of it was stolen and kept among special interest groups that are still holding on to this knowledge to this day. However, if we can get past the dogma and the religious bigotry that has been used to encapsulate these wisdom teachings, we'll discover that in many of these texts, it speaks about how to help us in our evolution on a spiritual and mental, as well as even physical level, us evolving in consciousness and going through many lives, deaths, and rebirths as we develop, not just as individuals, but as a species. There's more to come, but for now, may you continue on your journey, my sisters and brothers, and let nothing stop you on your journey of growth. Peace and blessings. Talk to you soon.